Your HOA just sent you a bill for $15,000, not your mortgage, not your property taxes, a special assessment. And your first question probably isn't why. It's this: do I actually have to pay it? And can the HOA really charge homeowners this much without a vote? The answer is sometimes yes, and sometimes no. Every HOA operates under a different set of rules. We break down HOA rules like this every week. Subscribe if you want to stay informed. Now let's look at how to tell whether your HOA followed the rules and what you can do about it. Here's the mistake many homeowners make. They assume, I didn't vote for this, so I don't have to pay. Unfortunately, that's not how HOA assessments work. Whether a vote was required depends on documents that were likely part of a stack of papers you signed at closing, possibly without reading every page. Before deciding whether the charge is valid, you need to know where the authority comes from, and that means reviewing the specific documents that govern your community. Start with 4 things. First, your CC and Rs, the Declaration of Covenants, Conditions, and Restrictions. This is the foundational document for your community and often defines assessment authority. Second, your bylaws. These typically outline how the board makes financial decisions and what requires a homeowner vote. Third, your state's HOA laws. Some states set specific thresholds for when owner approval is required. And fourth, any emergency provisions that apply to your community. Many governing documents include exceptions that allow the board to act quickly in urgent situations. These 4 sources determine whether homeowners get a vote, whether the board can approve the assessment itself, and whether special exceptions apply. This surprises many homeowners. 2 communities can face the exact same repair. The first HOA may require owner approval. The second may allow the board to approve the assessment on its own. Why? Because governing documents are different. In Community A, any assessment over $5,000 requires a majority owner vote. In Community B, the board can approve assessments up to $50,000 without a vote. Same state, same type of repair, completely different rules. There is no single national HOA rule that applies everywhere. That's why reading your own community's documents is the only way to know what protections you actually have. Situations that often lead to assessments without owner votes include emergency repairs, a roof collapse, a burst water main, a structural failure that can't wait for a homeowner meeting, major reserve shortfalls. When the reserve fund doesn't have enough to cover a required repair, unexpected insurance costs, a large deductible after a claim, or a sudden premium increase, and court judgments or legal settlements. Obligations the association must pay regardless of owner opinion. In many communities, delaying these decisions could create even larger financial problems. That's why some governing documents give boards the authority to act quickly. If you simply refuse to pay because you disagree with the assessment, the consequences can be serious. In many communities, a properly adopted special assessment becomes an obligation just like regular HOA dues. That can lead to late fees, collections, and even liens against your property. We have a full video on how HOA liens work if you want to understand that process. That's why determining whether the assessment was properly approved is so important. Because if it was, disagreeing with the amount doesn't eliminate the obligation. But what if the board didn't follow the proper process? If you believe the assessment wasn't properly approved, your options may include requesting a special meeting, challenging the assessment through your state's dispute resolution process, or consulting an attorney who specializes in HOA law. The key is acting quickly. Most governing documents include deadlines for challenges before paying or challenging. The assessment? Ask for the reserve study, the engineer's report or contractor assessment, board meeting minutes where the assessment was discussed and approved, project bids or cost estimates, and the specific governing document provision authorizing the assessment. Most associations are required to provide these documents to homeowners upon request. Reviewing them won't necessarily change the outcome, but it will help you understand whether the process was followed and whether the amount is reasonable. Understanding the process is often more important than agreeing with the decision. A special assessment doesn't automatically mean your HOA did something wrong, but it also doesn't mean every assessment was approved correctly. The key question isn't how large the bill is. The key question is whether the board followed the rules that apply to your community. If you'd like to understand how special assessments happen in the first place, watch our video Special Assessments Explained next. Practical HOA education, no drama.